come to an end here in Landover. Alex Smith, first home start since coming back from that horrific leg injury, will get a home win for Washington as they will improve to 3-7 and inch a little bit closer to the top of the NFC East in what has been such a wild season in that division. Obvious concern within the Cincinnati franchise in the immediate future now of Joe Burrow as he is carted off the field here at FedEx Field. 20-9, your final. Now for Adam Archuleta, Gene Steratore, Spiro Ditas saying so long from FedEx Field. We now send you to James Brown at our CBS studios in New York.
So Washington comes up with the win against Cincinnati. We all know that Joe Burrow went out injured with that left knee injury there. Washington comes up with the win, 20-9, the final there. And Tennessee and Baltimore, we will take you there. They are now into overtime, 24, knotted up. Tennessee and the Ravens. Phil, Coach, Nate, and Boomer as we get set to take it to that Tennessee-Baltimore matchup.
Well, I mean, I think about Joe Burrow and the year that he was having and the fact that it looks like he may be done for the season. So I would say to Cincinnati Bengals fans, you got your quarterback of the future, and hopefully he'll be able to come back from this injury or something.
You know, he did tweet out and he told thank you to Cincinnati Bengal fans and said he would be back next year. Looking forward to it.
Well, what a tough one. All right, we're going to take you out to that matchup all night in Baltimore at 24. Let's take you out to the announcers for that game. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson.
Good job, Phil.
Overtime on the way in Baltimore. Like to welcome the audience.
Steelers produce 373 yards of offense. They hold Jacksonville to 206 on the day. And Luton, 4 interceptions in his 3rd NFL start.
Thought there were some flashes early for him. Just wasn't able to sustain, and it's hard to do against this Pittsburgh defense.
Ben Roethlisberger, 267 yards and 2 touchdowns. For Charles Davis, Evan Washburn, the rest of our crew, Ian Eagle, so long from Jacksonville. Time for bonus coverage, Tennessee and Baltimore, as we go to James Brown in New York.
We take you now to Tennessee at Baltimore, where it is in overtime, tied at 24. Let's join the announcers there, Jim Nance, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
CBS Sports presents the Geico Play of the Day.
The Eagles' Carson Wentz is blindsided by the Browns' Denzel Ward, causing him to throw up a turkey. Sione Taki gobbles up the ball, trots down the field, carves his way towards the end zone. The rest is gravy. Ward's stuffing of Wentz leads to a 50-yard Browns touchdown and a very thankful Taki.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This is the State Farm Post-Game Show.
And hello again, everyone, and welcome to the State Farm Post-Game Show. And a reminder, coming up next, Bill Cowher, the first ever bull riding event, Nate, on an aircraft carrier at the PBR, Air Force Reserve Cowboys for a Cause. Boomer, that's you. That's coming your way next right here on CBS.
Those bulls better not get to next to the side.
JB along with Phil, Nate, Coach, and Boomer. And let's get right to the highlights.
Let's get to these highlights. AFC matchup, Titans, Ravens, both teams coming in 6-3. And a little jaw jack. And you got Malcolm Butler talking to Harbaugh talking to Vrabel. Guys running their mouths, which means it's going to be a physical game. And it was. The score 14-10 at this point. Lamar Jackson dropped it back. Who is he looking for? His #1 target. That's Mark Andrews, 31-yard TD. Won't you pay attention to Lamar Jackson? Did he do that on purpose? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Guys were bumping their gums. He bumps his shoulder on the way out, celebrating. All right, a little over 2 minutes left. 4th quarter. Who did they hit? A.J. Brown. Watch this physical run. Boom, boom. You know what? I want this game winner. And he gets in. But the game wasn't over, but it was one great run from A.J. Brown. Vrabel, loving it. But yet and still, this game, it is in overtime right now, 24-24. The game started with guys running their mouths, and it ends with Derrick Henry running the ball. It's fitting, right? The guy that talks the least actually puts the game away. Derrick Henry with a 29-yard run. That right there would end it in overtime. How about that? The Titans, they win this one 30-24.
And it was an excellent second half and overtime for Ryan Tannehill. And after the game, it was out Tracy Wolfson catching up with Mr. Tannehill.
Well, congratulations, Ryan. You guys were down 21-10, came back to force overtime. First off, that drive to force overtime culminating with the A.J. Brown touchdown, who just forced his way in there. Talk about the play calling that led to the OT.
Yeah, it was great calls and then great execution of the guys up front. You know, we just found a way to make some plays. You see A.J., he really went beast mode twice on that drive. He had a short throw to the left. I don't know how many tackles he broke, but he ended up getting, I don't know, 20 yards or something. And then, you know, that big third down play for the touchdown, again, broke 3 or 4 tackles and just wouldn't be denied as he got into the end zone. So just fun to be able to be a part of that and see our guys really come together and thrive off of each other and get in the end zone.
And then how about the way the defense came up to make the stop that they needed in overtime?
Oh, it was huge. You know, we knew they needed to stop them. Obviously, high-powered offense can score at any time. They got a lot of weapons over there. So really happy our defense made that big stop and got us the ball back. And then, you know, we saw what Derek did to finish it off.
Derek always seems to do that to finish it off for you guys. And now, right in the hunt, everyone in this AFC just jam-packed. How crucial was this win here in Baltimore to try and separate yourself and feed off of it going into this final stretch of the season?
Oh, it was huge. You know, there's a bunch of teams that were 6-3, kind of bunched up right there at the same spot. So, you know, the good teams, the teams that kind of separate themselves down this home stretch, will be the ones who, you know, make it to the dance. And if you don't, then you're going to be left out. So I'm glad we took the first step today and getting this win.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
And can the only remaining unbeaten team stay unbeaten? Trap game for Ben? No, I don't think so. He's going to find right here Chase Claypool from 31 yards out, his 10th touchdown of the year. The Steelers celebrate this Juju Smith's 24th birthday today, and they congratulate him there. Then Ben right here, as you can see him find Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson had 12 catches on the day for 111 yards. Next play, Benny Snell's going to take this in from 1 yard out. Pittsburgh had 106 yards rushing. The Pittsburgh defense, 4 interceptions on the day. It was a very impressive win by Pittsburgh going down to Jacksonville with a 27-3 win. They now go to 10-0.
And what did Coach Mike Tomlin say before the game? I don't believe in
trap games.
That is certainly the case. And after the game, it was our Evan Washburn catching up with Minka Fitzpatrick.
Well, Minka, hey, I'm up here. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, sir.
Look, I know the standard's the standard in Pittsburgh, but a season low, 3 points allowed, 4 takeaways. Was this as good as this defense has played this year?
You know, it was a good win. There's still some areas that we can improve on. They were moving the ball down the field, but we got a lot of turnovers in the red area and stuff like that. But there's always areas to improve on. It was a good game. It was an all-around good game, offense, defense, special teams. But there's always areas to improve on.
Okay, how about for you, though? 2 interceptions at a critical point in the season. What does that mean to you personally?
We just got to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? We have a great team on Thursday in Baltimore. It's a great team, and we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
You mentioned that game that waits on Thursday. Prime time, Thanksgiving night against your division rival.
Yes,
as much as I know you enjoy any win, how quickly do you shift your focus to that one?
We had the plane ride home, and then we'll probably start watching film tonight on Baltimore.
Anything for all these Steelers fans that made the trip or found a way to get in?
Yeah, we just appreciate it, man. Everywhere that we go, there's a whole bunch of Steelers fans. They're awesome fans. They love us, win or loss. And, you know, we just appreciate them very much.
Minka, thanks for the time. Congrats on the win.
Appreciate you.
You know, I love the fact that Evan brought up the game coming up Thursday night between the Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens now are really uncomfortable, Coach, as you said, the pregame show, because they lost in overtime to the Titans. But the Steelers, man, they are a great football team. They can do it all. They have great defense. They can run the ball. They have a Hall of Fame quarterback and a wide receiver group that I would probably say, and we were talking about this earlier in the pregame show, could be the best wide receiver group in the NFL collectively. So, I mean, there's no weakness on this team.
They might be the most balanced wide receiver group in all of football. But back to that Titans-Ravens game, they do have a good balance as well. The run game, of course, is there. Derrick Henry, he puts the game on nice. But before that, it was a little bit of Corey Davis in that second half. And A.J. Brown, of course, actually sent it in overtime. But this is what they do best. Right out the gate, they go with the play action, right? Because you expect overtime, they're going to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. And like I said, Corey Davis comes up big in that second half. Corey Davis once again. So there's so many guys that they can deliver the ball to. You almost look at their wide receiver core and think to yourself, is Corey Davis the number one? Is it A.J. Brown? It doesn't matter when you can hand it off to a guy like this that can actually put it to bed. And I joked about it. The game started with guys running their mouths. And it ended with Derrick Henry, who was the most physical guy, but doesn't run his mouth at all. And I don't know if you would call that a handshake, but I do like the fact that there was some jaw-jacking before the game, Phil.
You like that, huh?
I do. You talk all the time.
Yeah, I do. Look at Derrick Henry's numbers, 28 for 133. I think if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you got to worry about your run defense. They got run over by New England last week. Today, Derrick Henry, it took a while, but, they warmed down, and that's why they won the game.
I mean, I just looked at the game that Arthur Smith called. That last drive, to me, to get the game into overtime, they had Baltimore on their heels because all of a sudden they're trying to stack up against the run, and he goes play action. A.J. Brown, he looks like Derrick Henry. I mean, he runs like Derrick Henry. He gets the ball. They all look big, strong.
They all look like DK Metcalf.
And Ryan Tannehill,
teammates in college.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill, I'm telling you what, he surveys the field. He is a perfect fit for this offense. Uniquely, same offenses that like to run the ball. Yeah. But the one thing is that the passing offense of Tennessee complements the running.
Steady Eddie is Ryan Tannehill, right? It complements
the running game. So you really have to play both.
One thing I would say about
so accurate. I mean, when he makes those play action fakes, he drives the ball. And you talk about down the field, A.J. Brown, he looks like a tight end.
Yeah.
Corey Davis, he's big. Jonnu Smith, I can't tell him apart.
The one thing I will say, however, if I'm Baltimore, that really concerns me is the way that they, in regulation, they tied the game with a field goal, but they were completely disorganized with their offense. Are we calling timeout? Are we not calling timeout? They were all over the place, like they didn't have a plan. So that also concerns me. But Baltimore Thursday night in Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving, oh, man.
So to put the cherry on the top in terms of what you were saying about Pittsburgh, they are what their record says, the only undefeated team in the league.
This is true.
They mean business.
You're right about that. One of the best in the business right now.
Coach, you said you like their nasty attitude.
Well, I mean, I think with Pittsburgh right now is they take every game and they make it personal. This one will be easy on Thursday, and they'll get a little bit of a bye, which they've needed. They were one of the first teams to have the bye, so they get this game Thursday. Now, they're beat up as well. Juju Smith left that game. Joe Hayden left that game. This is going to be a battle of attrition on Thursday night. We saw a lot of Baltimore people being left out there in overtime.
And Mike Tomlin always says the right thing. One thing he said last week, which I thought was perfect, to allow his team not to fall into that trap game mode, he said, the only thing perfect about us is our record, which he wasn't talking to the media. He was talking to his squad. Don't start feeling yourselves right now. We got a lot of football left in the regular season.
The other thing is the Cleveland Browns quietly now are 7-3.
Oh,
no question. Think about that, man. Nobody's talking about them. They've won 2 ugly games here in ugly weather in Cleveland and have gotten to 7-3.
Hey, there's a flashlight over top of Phil's head, which means instant update.
Instant update. Guess who it is? It's Tua Tagovailoa. He throws a 3-yard pass. Oh, they do this so much. To Devontae Parker, back of the end zone.
Nice.
Man, it's about the 6th or 7th time in 4 starts that Tua has thrown a pass just like that. Dolphins 7-0 over the Broncos. I think Drew Lock threw an interception. Yes, he did. To get things going for the Dolphins.
For those who may not, Coach, have seen the pregame show, you guys collectively were talking about what Miami is doing so well because many people were scratching their head. Why would you make a move from Ryan Fitzpatrick to Tua Tagovailoa? But
I think you're looking at a complete team, too, because Tua understands this is a very confident football team. They've been playing very well in defense, and offensively, they're starting to get in their stride. And I think Chan Gailey has brought them along very, very well, slowly, giving him a kid a sense of confidence when he's gone out there, and he's got guys making plays for him.
It's 9 minutes left in the first quarter, and Drew Lock has thrown an interception, so their defense is playing well, like you're saying. Yeah. And Tua has put perfect ball placement in the back shoulder fade to the back of the end zone to Devontae Parker. It's exactly what we talked about before. They're playing well on all 3 phases, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get a special teams touchdown today.
Yeah, well, that's why Brian Flores will get a lot of votes for Coach of the Year if this continues, because this has come out of nowhere, really, when you think about it.
No, the Miami Dolphins are a scary team. I think we've been saying it for weeks. Put them up on the board today to win the division. You got to look out for them.
2 leading candidates, Mike Tomlin, Brian Flores, Coach of the Year.
No question about it. Can't argue with that. Hey, and the State Farm postgame show will continue after this.
Want to stay up to date? Just tell Siri, show me football standings.
All right, guys, here's an updated look at the AFC playoff picture. Remember, Indianapolis is playing right now against Green Bay, but Tennessee has jumped up into the third spot. Depending on what Indianapolis does, Cleveland, like I said, a quiet 7-3, and there's the Pittsburgh Steelers, the number 1 seed at 10-0.
Here we go, guys. The Eagles at the Browns. Carson Wentz, as he drops back, feels the pressure. He's picked off by Sione Takitaki, and what's he do? He returns it 50 yards for the touchdown and put the Cleveland Browns up 7-0. And then later, Kareem Hunt jumps over a tackler and scores from 5 yards out. That made it 19-10. Cleveland, wow, what a jump. And Cleveland goes on to win the football game against the Eagles 22-10. Look at the things there. Carson Wentz, I thought once again struggled at throwing the football. Baker Mayfield, efficient. But the big thing when you look at Cleveland is when you look at their football team, it's the defense and running the football.
All right, guys, good news and bad news. Joe Burrow got hurt. He tweeted after the game, thanks for all the love. See you next year. I'm not going to be gone that long. And then comes back. Another good story is Alex Smith. Now, this is Alex Smith's first win as a quarterback for the Washington football team since his gruesome injury a couple years back. And you can see how his teammates responded to him. They win 20-9. And Joe Burrow was actually in the midst of having a terrific game when he went down with that injury.
And after the game, it was Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta catching up with one Alex Smith.
Alex, congratulations on the win. We'll get to the game in a second, but first have to ask you about seeing Joe Burrow carted off like that. You know, we know everything you've been through. What were the emotions like for you in watching him get taken off like that?
Mixed emotions. Really tough to see that. He was obviously a heck of a player, young kid, and has been playing so great this year. And you hate seeing that. As soon as the card comes out, it's obviously serious. In that moment, just obviously wishing him the best. Don't know what happened. Hopefully it's good news.
Alex, a bit of a grind for you guys in the first half, but in the second half, it seemed like the run game really kind of jump-started you guys. Did you talk about that at halftime?
We definitely wanted to stay balanced all day. We felt like we were getting decent looks. In the first half, like you said, we didn't convert a couple of those third downs, and felt like we didn't possess the ball much at all in the first half. Second half, we were able to, with the run game going, credit to the guys up front, backs running hard. We were able to kind of keep that balance, and really, I thought that was the difference there in the second half for sure.
Alex, a couple of months ago, you didn't know if you'd be on this team. Suddenly, you're starting again, and the team is in contention for a division championship. Just, I guess, in line with what 2020 has been like.
Yep. Yeah, crazy year. For us, we got to continue to stay short-sighted, just live in 1 week at a time. The division stuff will take care of itself. Obviously, we understand, what it is. But for us, just living week to week. We got a short week coming up, big division game. So quick turnaround.
Alex, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You know what, as we listen to Alex Smith, it's clear he's still passionate about the game. Boomer, going back to the pregame show, when you said, as far as Alex Smith is concerned, it's not about the money.
It's not about the money. After this year, he'll have earned $190 million playing quarterback in the NFL, and he is guaranteed $71 million with his new contract with the Washington football team. But I'm just telling you, for a guy like him to go through 17 surgeries, to go through the entire rehab, to go to Walter Reed, to meet our vets who have also suffered significant injuries to their limbs and be inspired by them so he can inspire us and others, it speaks to who he is as a human being. That was a tough question he was asked there at the beginning about what happened to Joe Burrow. He didn't even see it, but he knows that when the card comes out that it's not going to be good, and that's exactly what he's went through 2 years ago. So I don't know. It's a miracle that Alex is actually on the field to play.
I remember in 2008, I tore my ACL, and I went to Alabama to meet with Dr. Andrews, who's world famous and worked on a ton of athletes. And as I came out of my surgery, 2 days later, I'm just trying to get some flexibility in my leg. And I just seen this dude off to the right, working his butt off, sweating, going crazy. And I was asking the trainer, who is, never met him, saw him on the field. And he was working as if he had a game the next day. And he was down there rehabbing one of his many injuries. This one isn't the first.
Right.
What he doesn't get credit for is he's always been a winner. He's great in the playoffs. And he's tough. He's tough. In a day and age where we like to criticize, people are quick to call defenses soft and quarterbacks soft. I think oftentimes when you see a real tough dude, we don't give him credit for that. So aside from everything that we've seen him do over the last couple of years, he's just a tough, hard-nosed dude, and it's good to see guys like that in the league.
And it really is. You talked about his first emotion. He said, I had mixed emotions. I feel bad for him. He kind of knows what he's going to go through. But for us, it's a short-term focus. I mean, we're in the middle of this. I mean, his whole focus is on the next game. And that's the way this guy has approached the game of football and approached everything in life is he doesn't think long-term. He thinks short-term and taking a little bit of strides each and every way. And this football team, they got the running game going. He's got Terry McLaurin, who's now become his go-to receiver on the deep ball. And he's thinking we can still win this division. And you know what? He's really an inspiration from the standpoint is, I'm going to control what I can control. And he's sympathetic, he's empathetic, but he's also a very focused and driven young man. And I just think there's a lot to be taken from his attributes.
Well, of course, the courage and his love of the game, all that comes out. You look at the Washington football team, they know they're in a playoff hunt. Ron Rivera said, look, he's the guy, not only this year, but maybe for our future. So, and Alex Smith, everything he's been through, the one thing he does, he knows how to play the position really well. And I hate to say it this way, but he knows how to manage the team and the game. And that's a very important thing that, a lot of quarterbacks don't know how to do.
Then on the other sideline, guys, we saw the reaction from the Bengal players to their first-year captain, their Rookie of the Year, runaway winner. I think he would have been. I don't know necessarily if this will be impacted because he's missing the rest of the season here. But and Phil, you also said this. You said a lot of smart things today. I just want to say, congratulations to you for that. That maybe that he's been throwing too much for the Bengals. That he's been put in a position where he has had to carry this football team on his arm each and every week. And the thing that I admire most about that young man is that he got beat up by Pittsburgh. He got beat up by Baltimore. Yeah. And after both of those games, he came back and he played well. So now we know he's got the heart to play in the NFL.
Here's week 10. Today, in the third quarter, he had 34 attempts. This is not counting scrambles, runs, stuff like that. And for the year, 10 games, over 400 throws. So how many times has he dropped? So that is a lot of pressure on a young guy. He's handled it great, but I think you're right, though, Boomer, and we talked about it. Really just too much on him. Give him a break, manage the game a little different way. Because listen, as a quarterback, when you get hit, it wears you down week by week. And sometimes you go, whatever we do this week, I just don't want to get hit.
Right.
Because you got to recover. And
he deserves all the credit that he does get. But let me just comment on what Boomer said as I go to coach. You said a quiet 7-3 for Cleveland. Let's give a little bit of credit as well, too, to Kevin Stefanski, who has done a remarkable job.
And I think one of the things that he's done is he's pulled back the reins a little bit and not thrown too much with his quarterback, Baker Mayfield.
Right.
All of a sudden now he's gone more. Nick Chubb's back. Kareem Hunt's back. Let's run the football. Let's play some defense. We got inclement weather coming up here in Cleveland. People are going up there. The wind,
that's not unusual.
I mean, it's just he's playing to what the identity of what this team is all about.
They don't ask, if I was a quarterback, they're not going to ask me to run the option, okay? Because that's not my skill. Baker Mayfield is not the guy to drop back and throw the ball 20 and 30 times a game from the pocket. It's play actions, run the ball, do what they're doing, managing the game. The Cleveland Browns, Stefanski, they've done a great job.
22 pass attempts, 25 pass attempts.
But look at the weather, though. The last 2 weeks.
But hold on. Where are you going? Where are you going?
What that does, it rests your defense. What it does plays to your strengths. You have two of the best running backs in the league. I mean, that's the strength of your team. Don't try to force something that's not there.
And that which makes you smile, they ran the ball how many times today? 40 times. Does that bring a smile?
I love it.
He loves it.
Love it, man.
Hey, Nate's alarm watch on his clock, that is, just went off. Go ahead, Nate.
That's right. Speaking of running backs, you got Andy Dalton and Ezekiel Elliott. We've been talking all year about these Cowboys. Give it to your running back, the guy who's making the most money on your team, and he gets in the end zone. They would miss the extra point, but the Dallas Cowboys up 6-0.
All right, another instant update. How about Aaron Rodgers to Robert Tonyan for a 25-yard touchdown pass right down the middle of the field. Wide open, man. That's uncharacteristic of this Indy defense. It's been one of the best in the NFL. 7-0 Packers.
Robert Tonyan, a little secret weapon for the Green Bay Packers.
He really is.
Right about that.
So the action continues, and guess what? We're on top of it. We'll bring you up to speed as the State Farm postgame show continues after this.
I always come out on time, my team winning, oh.
Saturday, the the SEC is on CBS, and folks, it's another chapter in the Iron Bowl when 22nd-ranked Auburn and number 1 Alabama tussle in Tuscaloosa. We get you set for the game starting at 2:30 with the drive to Atlanta, followed by College Football Today. That's Saturday. The SEC is on CBS. Phil.
Oh, instant update. We got Miami at Denver, and that's Melvin Gordon up the middle for a 1-yard touchdown score. It makes the score 7-7 out in Denver. Look at the numbers. Not much to look at yet. Tua, 1 throw, 1 touchdown, 1 completion. Here we go. We got Deshaun Watson to Kiki QT. He moves around against the 3-man rush for a 6-yard touchdown pass in the back of the end zone, 21-10. Houston here with 4 seconds left. Cam Newton throws a Hail Mary to Ryan Izzo, who catches the ball, but he, of course, is short of the end zone. And the final score, Houston wins 27-20 over the New England Patriots. Deshaun Watson is the story of the game, had a great day throwing, moved around. New England couldn't put pressure on him, so he scrambled and found guys open down the field to throw to.
I really thought this was an important game for New England. They needed to win this one to get back to 500. Now at 6 losses, with all these other teams like Cleveland with only 3 losses, Tennessee only 3 losses, this is a very, very bad loss for New England. This is a game that they probably should have won, probably felt like they should have won. But when Deshaun Watson plays like this, it's like almost impossible to stop him.
Yeah, and I thought this would be a good game for the Pats to win and then hang their hat on something. Cam Newton didn't turn the ball over. He had 365 yards passing. They finally found one guy that could step up as a wide receiver. Jameer Byrd had himself a day. The run game was there. You would think if they could win this one, it's almost like you look back at it and point at things that could carry you the rest of the season.
And they're just the one-dimensional element of the offense. But I'll tell you, to me, the story was Deshaun Watson. And what you saw today going against that secondary, it gives you some excitement for this football team moving forward. It hasn't gone off to the start they wanted, but that young man, Deshaun Watson, is the cornerstone of your football team. No question about it.
Well, without a doubt, today they win that game because of him. New England always has these intricate defenses they want to run. They tried it today against Deshaun Watson. The 3-man rush, he bought time, and he can really throw the football when he gets time.
You holding up okay?
Yeah, my voice is hanging in there.
All right, sounds good.
We'll let Boomer talk first.
It's good, though, man. It's kind of sexy.
And the State Farm postgame show continues after this. We definitely invite you to spend part of your Thanksgiving with us on Thursday for a special edition of the NFL on CBS when Deshaun Watson, he had the excellent game today, and the Texans take on Matthew Stafford and the Lions in Detroit. It all starts with us at the NFL Today, noon Eastern, right here on CBS.
All right, guys, it's an update out in Indianapolis. This time it's Philip Rivers. He's going to find Michael Pittman Jr. across the middle. He's going to take it all the way 45 yards. Wow. Aaron Rodgers, 5 of 5, 78 yards and a touchdown. Philip Rivers, 4 of 5, 80 yards and a touchdown. This game is tied as they go back and forth, 7-7. 2 Hall of Fame-to-be quarterbacks.
Nice.
All right, how about down in New Orleans? You know what? Matt Ryan got sacked 8 times by this New Orleans defense, and Taysom Hill had himself a game, fellas. This is what he did normally when he's not playing quarterback, running with the football, but he also threw the ball effectively in replace of Philip Rivers. You remember there was a lot of debate. Was it going to be Jameis Winston, or was it going to be Taysom Hill? Sean Payton went with Taysom Hill. The defense showed up for New Orleans, like I said. They had 8 sacks, and the offense led by Taysom Hill, pretty good numbers right there. 18 of 23, 233 yards, 51 rush yards, 2 rush TDs, and no turnovers.
Man, Taysom can do it all. All right, Lions, Panthers, and there's P.J. Walker. He is in there for Teddy Bridgewater. He's going to drop back. Who is he going to hit? Curtis Samuel. New York, young man. All right, he's representing. And what is he doing? I think he's playing a little video game. I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, man.
Hey, how big
Phil, could you make that move?
P.J. Walker, he's small quarterback.
5'11".
5'11"?
Played at Temple.
Oh, man.
Yes.
How about that?
All right, and while we continue to debate that, we'll check in with our NFL insider, Jason Lockenforo, who's got the latest on Joe Burrow. Hello, Jason.
Hey, JB. Yeah, obviously not good. Joe Burrow won't play football this year. The Bengals are trying to determine the extent of his knee injury. There's concern about the ACL possibly being torn, MCL. Also, he'll get his scans as soon as possible and make a final determination about the length of this. There's some hope. Maybe it's just a strain. But regardless, probably going to be a while before we see Joe Burrow.
All right, Jason, thank you so very much. And again, I know we don't speculate about injuries. We'll wait until the official report comes in. But one thing is for certain, we wish him the best. What an outstanding young talent for sure. The State Farm postgame show will continue after this.
This is the State Farm postgame show.
And welcome back to Studio 43 and the State Farm postgame show. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the new health issues arising among healthy COVID patients. That'll be followed by new episodes of NCIS Los Angeles and NCIS New Orleans, plus NCIS Tonight on CBS.
All right, we have an instant update. Dallas and the Vikings, and Dalvin Cook, he gets in. This is the battle of the backs. First it was Ezekiel Elliott catches the pass, and now it's Dalvin Cook, one of the best backs in the league. He gets in and calls his dogs to come celebrate with him. The Vikings, they're up 7-6 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
All right, NFC playoff picture here, guys. I got to tell you, New Orleans is about as impressive as it gets. You know, they just absolutely destroyed Atlanta today. You can see they are the #1 seed. Green Bay's playing right now. Seattle, big win against Arizona on Thursday. Philadelphia, even with a 3-6-1 record, is still in first place in the NFC East. I'm telling you, the Giants are going to be right on their heels. And then, of course, you see Tampa Bay, the Rams, and Arizona all in the wild card hunt.
You know what? And even though they're way on the outside, I think about the conversations with Coach Cowher, who talks about the importance of navigating the murky waters, as he calls the middle part of the season, 8 games. I mean, there are 2 mass units with San Francisco, and yet those guys play hard every time.
And it is murky waters this time of the year, and I'm always interested in decisions that coaches make and decisions that even players make. So I have been sitting here for 2 weeks, and I really have to ask the question, the decision by Nate Burleson to go to the new hairstyle. Can you kind of bring us, but seriously, Nate, can you talk us through what led you to doing this?
Well, listen, sometimes you got to switch things up. It's the middle of the season, and the outfits, they become monotonous, if you will. So I wanted to change things up, kind of spark the energy here. And Phil said it makes me look younger. So
yes. No, I said you think you're trying to look younger.
No.
I didn't say it made you look younger.
Being on the set with you guys makes me look younger. I'm just saying the hairstyle makes me look younger to the masses.
Hey, Nate, but check this out. You're versatile and you can do it. But nobody compares to Boomer Esiason when he wore a mustard-colored suit. His jacket went down past his knees.
That's right. Well, I lost the bet to Deion Sanders, and he dressed me. It's unbelievable. You got to see it. But by the way, I just want to say this about the New Orleans Saints. How about Sean Payton, 6-0 without Drew Brees over the last 2 years? Could he get some Coach of the Year consideration, Coach?
Hey, folks, that does it for us. We'll see you on Thanksgiving.
Your coach